Good morning. Hello, everyone. We're gonna give it just a minute. It's good to be with you guys this morning. All right, my name is Miss Amanda, and I work at the Lincoln County Public Library, and we are going to do some online STEM. So STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, and we are going to do a fun science experiment today. Today we are going to be talking about volcanoes. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys and do some science. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a picture of a volcano. And I'm going to put a link to this in the comments of the video so you guys can find it for your reference. And the activity that we're doing today, you can find it in lots of different places, but the one that we're using is from PBS Kids, and it has some links to their show Dinosaur Train. So I'm going to show you guys this picture of a volcano. Alright, and so as you can see, it says volcano here at the bottom, volcano. And we're going to talk about the magma down here, and we're going to talk about an eruption. Up here this says eruption. And an eruption is when the magma comes out of the volcano. So down here you can see this is magma, and when it's inside the earth we call it magma, and after an eruption, when it comes out during an eruption, we call it lava. And lava is liquid rock. So it's rock that is so hot that it's a liquid. So it's very, very hot. And it's down deep inside the earth, and it works its way all the way up, and eventually it has an eruption. And once it has an eruption, it's called lava. And while there's an eruption, there's also ash and rocks and steam and all sorts of things that come out of a volcano. So I'm going to link this paper in the comments. You'll be able to find that on PBS Kids, as well as lots of other cool experiments that you can do. But today we are going to be talking about volcanoes, and we're going to make our own volcanic eruption. So we don't have any magma or any liquid rock, but we are going to use some things that you guys might have at your house to be able to make our very own volcano, and we're going to make it erupt. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some Play-Doh or clay, maybe some sand. So whatever you might have lying around your house that you would be able to kind of model or build with. So I just have some Play-Doh here, and so I'm going to use my Play-Doh to form my volcano. And so we're going to pull this picture of a volcano back up here, and we're going to look at the shape of a volcano. A volcano kind of looks like a triangle. And so it's kind of big and wide on the bottom, and it gets smaller and smaller as you go to the top. And it has, if you look here, the magma is at the bottom, and then the magma goes all the way up through the middle. So we're going to try to make something that looks a little bit like a triangle, and we're going to make sure that it has a hole in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to make this out of my Play-Doh. I'm going to move this down so you guys can see. Alright, so I'm going to be making my volcano out of my Play-Doh. It's also really important that I have just a baking sheet here. It's important that if you're doing this inside, that you have something to work on that's going to help keep everything from getting messy, because this activity can get really messy. So, alright, so I'm going to kind of make a cylinder here, and then I'm going to kind of flatten out the bottom because we want our volcano to be able to sit up. And then we're going to put a hole in the middle because we want our volcano to be able to hold some baking soda and some vinegar. Because what we're going to do is we're going to make an eruption with some baking soda and some vinegar, okay? So we're going to try to make this look like a volcano. I had some brown Play-Doh, but you can use whatever color Play-Doh you want. You can have a rainbow volcano, you can have an orange volcano, a purple volcano, whatever color volcano you want to have. Alright, so the most important things is that you have something to work on, so if it makes a mess, it doesn't get everywhere. And then some Play-Doh or clay. And if you don't have any Play-Doh, in the comments I'm also going to put some recipes for homemade Play-Doh that you guys could whip up and make, and then also make some volcanoes with. So here's my volcano. You can see that I made some room inside of it to hold our baking soda and our vinegar. And there's my little volcano. Alright, so here's my volcano. And what we're going to do is we are going to add some baking soda and add some vinegar. And when we add baking soda and vinegar together, it creates a chemical reaction. And a chemical reaction, the chemical reaction it does is it actually creates water and carbon dioxide, and it looks like an explosion. So we're going to try to make this look like a volcano. Now it's going to be a little bit different because, like we talked about, in a real volcano there's magma, which is liquid rock, and it's very, 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 very hot. So we're going to make something that looks like a volcano, but it's a little bit different than a volcano. Okay, so the first thing that I need is I'm going to need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm going to show you this. This says 1 TSP, that's teaspoon, and it also says 5 ml. So I know that 1 teaspoon is the same thing as 5 milliliters, and I'm going to use this to get out my baking soda. So here's my baking soda. Mine is in a very big box, so I just poured it into this little container so it was easier to handle. And what you can do is you can add as much or as little as you want. I would start with 1 teaspoon, and then you can start adding more or less and experimenting with how much vinegar you're putting in versus how much baking soda you're putting in, and to see what that does to your eruption. Okay, so we're going to put in our baking soda. Okay, so we put that inside our volcano here. All right, and now we're going to add some vinegar. So my vinegar also is in a very big bottle, so I just poured some into this cup right here. But I'm actually going to pour just a little bit of it into this cup right here, because what I want to do is I want to color it. And so this is another way that you can kind of make your volcano whatever you want it to look like. So you can make your actual volcano piece whatever color you want, and then you can also make your lava be whatever color you want. So because I want to try to make mine look a little bit like a volcano, I'm going to use my brown Play-Doh, and I'm going to use, what color, do you guys know what color I should put in here? I think that I'm going to put some red in here. So I'm going to pour a little bit of my vinegar into this cup, and I'm making sure that I do it over top of my tray so I don't make a mess. And I'm going to take my red food coloring here, and I'm going to add in 4 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 drops of red food coloring. And I'm just going to mix that all up here. Alright, so now I have my volcano, and my volcano has some baking soda in it, and I'm going to add in my red vinegar, which is kind of like lava. Okay, so are you guys ready to see what happens when we put our vinegar and our baking soda together? It's going to cause a chemical reaction. Are you ready to see it? Okay, here we go. Chemical reaction. I'm going to start with a little bit, and like I said before, you can do a little bit of each one, and then you can add more of one or more of the other and experiment and see what that does with your eruption. Okay, here we go. We're going to pour it in. Ready for an eruption! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Our volcano is erupting! Wow! So cool. Wow! That's a big eruption. That is very cool. And so you guys can play with this. You can use all sorts of different kinds of Play-Doh or clay or sand, anything where you can build a kind of structure with a little bowl in it that you can add the ingredients. And you can test it out with different things. Maybe you put water instead of vinegar and see if that makes a chemical reaction. But if you want to do it like this, we put in 1 teaspoon of the baking soda and we put in just a little bit of the vinegar. So, all right, and you can, it's still bubbling a little bit, but it's not coming out anymore. So, all right, so you guys can try this at home. Make sure you ask a grown-up first. Like I said, if you don't have any Play-Doh, you can make some, and so I'm going to put a link to that in under the video. And then we're also going to put a link to the activity from pbs.org. And we're also going to link to some other things, some other cool volcano activities. So thank you guys so much for joining us today for Online STEM. Make sure that you join us on Thursday mornings as well, 10 o'clock on Facebook Live. On Thursdays we have online story time, and then we will be back next Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock here on Facebook Live for another online STEM activity. So thank you guys so much for joining us today for our volcanic eruption. I will tell you, after you're done with the experiment, if you take your Play-Doh and you just kind of rinse it off and set it out, not too long, but just set it out a little bit or pat it down with a paper towel, then you can still use your Play-Doh. So it doesn't ruin your Play-Doh, which is good. All right, so thanks everybody for watching today. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.